So we're going to talk about the prep, the fasting prep. We're going to start with hydration because I think it's like the foundation of detoxification.
Right.
A lot of people, when they think of hydration, they think of just drinking water. But the reality is you can't just simply drink water and just think you're going to get hydration. When I was actually researching like hydration, there were these doctors that would check their patients just to see hydration levels. And what they would find is even if a person was drinking a gallon of water or even 2 gallons of water, they still would not be hydrated. And so they're like, well, what's going on here? And what we came to understand is that it's about the quality of the water. So as we go through this process, it's, you know, the quality of things really, really matters when it comes to the food, when it comes to essential oils, when it comes to water or anything else. And one of the ways that you can increase your quality of water so that it hydrates better is a process I call sun charging. So this is where you would take the water, you put it in you get distilled water, you put it in a clear glass jar, and you let the sun come in contact with that water for 4 to 8 hours. What the sun is going to do is it's going to, number one, break down those water clusters. It'll make the actual molecule more absorbable by the cells. It's also going to eliminate any inorganic material in the water. So, you know, when we just having water in plastic, it's leaching chemicals from the plastic. Water is like a sponge, so it will leach anything that it comes in contact with. And so that's why in the olden days everything was in glass. Because it was a healthier packaging. You didn't have all this extra stuff being leached into it. So it's going to break down those inorganic chemicals that might be in there. And then, of course, this is the really cool part. The sun actually imparts data into the water. So people don't realize water has a crystalline structure. And what that means is it can remember things. You could actually look it up. It's called water memory. There's a professor, Luc Montagnier, did a lot of research in this, and then also Professor Emoto did a lot of research around like how water remembers and reacts to things almost like it's a consciousness. So understanding that it's not just simply H2O, understanding that you can talk to your water, and you probably should, and the intention that you put in the water makes a difference on how it's going to interact with you. And then if you want to go even deeper, well, they also tell us that we are, 72% water. So what are the words you're saying to yourself? So once you start understanding how water retains information, you see how damaging words can be, which is part of why I think they taught us as children, words don't hurt. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. So the goal was to disarm us because we naturally would understand that. But we've been educated to believe that words don't have an impact on you when they're absolutely detrimental. So we got to be careful about how we talk to our children. But so by drinking this water, that's going to help hydrate you better. I want you guys doing about 1 gallon of water a day. You could work up to it. You don't have to just come out the gate doing 1 gallon. But we want to work towards that, you know what I mean? Because most people just aren't getting enough water. And then another way that you can actually hydrate better is through plant material. So all plant material makes cellular water, and you can eat this. So when people say, you know, Chris, what's the best way to hydrate? Eating your water is the best way to hydrate. And you could get it from like watermelon, papaya, grapes, oranges, or I mean, even spinach, right? It all hydrates you better than drinking your water, because when you drink your water, you're usually drinking bulk water. So unless you've taken it through a process and you've done things to make it more hydrating, you're really only going to absorb about 3% of the water you drink. So eating your water is optimal, and this is the foundation, and this is how we start our prep. From that point, we're going to start changing the frequency of when you eat. We're going to change the quality of the food, and we're going to change the density of the food. And what this is going to do is help your body adjust ghrelin production. So one of the things that makes people want to quit their fasting is hunger pangs and, you know, detox symptoms. There's certain detox symptoms people just don't want to deal with. So we're like, well, let's see if we can get ahead of this with our prep. So ghrelin is a digestive fluid or digestive chemical that the body uses in preparation for eating. A lot of people think when you get the hunger pangs, that means, oh, I'm hungry, it's time to eat. It's actually the body preparing because you typically eat. So that little small change makes a big difference, because what we can now do is adjust how we eat. We can adjust the grilling production, and we can make it less intense and less frequent while we're fasting. And we do this prep during the prep week. So after we kind of start tweaking your diet and stuff, we're gonna reduce you guys down to like a 1 meal a day strategy, because you're probably used to eating. Well, I don't know. Y'all are pretty busy, so you might not be used to eating that many times a day.
Probably eat maybe like twice. We usually don't do like breakfast. We're probably like twice.
You're like twice.
Okay, so that's good. We're gonna step it down one more, and we're just gonna do 1 meal. Now, obviously, you want to be super intentional. You're only eating once that day, so you want to be really intentional about what you eat. You want to be really good with your water, just to make sure that you feel satiated. And then we're gonna do that for a little while, and then we're gonna shift you guys into some juice fasting. And the juice fasting is really just giving your body an opportunity to shift from solid food to liquid food, because you're gonna be water fasting. So you want the body to be able to make that adjustment. Also, another big benefit of the juice fasting is the actual acid from the juice will start breaking down the plaque that's in the small intestine, the colon. There's a statistic that says that the average American has anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds of excess fecal matter in their body. So what we can start doing with this juice is we can start breaking all that old material down and moving it out of the system. The other thing, when you start fasting, you start rehydrating the material in the colon, it'll make you sick. Right? Yeah, it'll make you feel like nauseous, low energy. I mean, I think you had mentioned low energy earlier. This is where some of your low energy may be coming from. Just imagine bacteria being attached to your small intestine, and it's slowly poisoning you. Like, it leaches into your blood. People don't realize, like, the colon and stuff is designed to absorb. So it'll absorb whatever is there, and if it's poison, it's a slow acting poison. So a lot of people are just being slowly poisoned from that material. So we're gonna start breaking that stuff down, and then also on the last day of your juice fasting, what we're gonna do is say, okay, you're gonna do green juice. Because one of the other things that makes people want to quit their fast early is the body's going to dump sugar. The first 12 to 16 hours, the body dumps sugar, and it makes you feel sick. It makes you feel like you got withdrawal symptoms.
Right.
So this is going to give you an opportunity to go through that process, but you still get the sustenance from the green juice. And so that'll kind of help keep you vitalized. And then once you're past that hump, now you start your fasting. And I'm not going to say it's smooth sailing. We're gonna talk about some things we can use to kind of support you, but it's gonna be a much better launch than just saying, all right, wifey, you about to do this thing. Let's have our one last meal, because most people do the one last meal.
Yep,
you know
big and yikes.
Got to get that one last meal in, and they'll do pizza, they'll do steak dinners, they'll do ice cream, and it's terrible. So first we're gonna tackle preparation.
Right.
Then we're going to outline your actual fasting strategy. We're going to look at your lifestyle. We're going to look at what's going to integrate into, y'all's daily life. We're going to develop a fasting strategy, and then we're going to be talking about refeed, which is almost more important than the fast itself. Most people miss this as well, and you can really hurt yourself if you don't refeed properly. So, did anybody have anything they wanted to add to that?
Just because I know we talked earlier about Austin, you fasted before, Sierra, you haven't. So going into the prep, you'll be able to see the difference between like jumping right in versus, doing this process and seeing how it eases things. Now, it's not going to make it easy. It's not going to be simple. You're still going to feel certain things, but it will be a difference. So it'll be good to and I don't think we talked about this at all, like journaling and really, y'all will be keeping up with what you have going on. Pen to paper on what you're feeling and how things are happening for you, so that you can compare and contrast your experience, but also be able to document for other folks or for yourself the next time you do this, if you choose to.
I know one of the things that have stopped me from really actually going through a fast is I get very hangry, so it's like, when I don't eat, I just, my attitude, I just don't want to do anything. I get headaches. Is there anything I can do help minimize that?
So the interesting thing about being hangry is when you're hangry, it's not necessarily that you're just, oh, I'm just hungry, I'm just mad and just upset, right? You have these systems in your body that are really designed to help protect you. And you have two different things happening here. You have hunger and you have anger. And I love to deal with emotions. It's one of the things that I work with other people on. And anger is probably one of the emotions that I personally love to talk about more than anything else. And it does a lot of different things as a protective method to us. And one of the things it does, it is designed to help protect against emotions or feelings that we would rather not feel or deal with. And that can be consciously or subconsciously. So if you think about it, right, you have your hunger, which is an unpleasant emotion. That's what it is, an unpleasant feeling. As Chris was talking about ghrelin, it's a hormone that is designed to get us to then eat. It's saying, hey, well, I'm going to start the digestive process for you because I understand your habits and the body likes stability, right? So when you don't feed into that, right, you don't feed it, then you start to get hungry, obviously, but then you also have anger that then says, hey, we don't want to deal with this emotion. This feeling doesn't feel good. So let's just then start getting upset, right? And then this will cause us to then want to go eat more, right? So then this is why as soon as you then eat, you're no longer upset. All of a sudden, you're just like, okay, I'm good now, right? What were you mad at? I don't know, I'm just hungry, right? You were never mad. The body was essentially then creating a feeling. It's dropping another hormone into the system that's coming from the subconscious to then protect you, right, from yourself. But in these situations in fasting, we're intentionally putting ourselves in that situation. When you do something unintentionally, then you have these systems that come on. So you're going to get hangry, or you may get hangry because you're unintentionally doing it. But if you do it intentionally, you're not going to get hangry, right? It's because of it's when we do things with intent and when we do them without intent, that's a big difference. If you look at the legal system, if you look at someone that does something with intent and they do it without intent, that's the difference between 10 and 20 years, right, in jail, right? When you do something intentionally, it's very different. So knowing how fasting works in this process, having an understanding about it early and knowing what you're going into definitely helps the entire process. And you'll have a much different experience knowing what you're doing and doing it with intention than if you were doing it with just because you just didn't eat that day. So,
and it's actually interesting because this is why I wanted to bring the whole crew. You know what I mean? Getting these different perspectives. The reality is, people don't look at food as like a chemical or like chemical warfare, but essentially, if you think about like someone who's addicted to heroin, right? If somebody's been addicted to heroin, let's say 10 years, they're hard addict. What you can't do is then allow to just like strip the drug away from them, right? They would have these really harsh detox symptoms, and what's essentially happening on a micro level when you're getting hangry is you're not getting your fix. So when you don't get your fix, you start having similar withdrawal symptoms as somebody who is dealing with a hard drug. It's crazy because like right now it's become commonplace for us to consume chemical foods and synthetic foods. I mean, like just think about a lot of the common foods probably that you guys have here, Dorito chips or even pizza. Like most of it isn't even real food. Right? And I'm sure you guys heard there was some research done decades ago where they compared how the human mind responds to like granulated white sugar and how it responds to cocaine. And it lights up the same areas of the brain. So you're essentially we're dealing with chemical warfare here. We're going through withdrawal symptoms because we're addicted to these foods. And so it's important to understand that because now you have a completely different perspective on it. It's like, okay, we've been taught we need food to eat. So it's like, okay, I need to get nutrition. I'm hangry, I need nutrition, and that's why I got it. Versus, oh, I'm going through withdrawal because I'm addicted, right, and I need to get off this hard drug. You know what I mean? And I think that helps, like Stephen mentioned, when you go into this, you go into it with a different perspective. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to add one more thing to that as well because even if you're doing it intentionally or unintentionally in the beginning, you may still feel those things that come on. And one thing that I've learned is like just breathing. Very, very simple, basic, it's a common thing you do to live, but breathing with intention and refocusing and grounding self on what it is that you're doing, it allows your body to offset some of those chemicals that make you angry. And it allows you, especially if you're breathing slowly, it allows the blood to flow to the brain, to the gut, and do what it needs to do, and it helps to balance. And then you just reground yourself. And then you couple that with essential oils and some aromatherapy, and you'll be able to bounce back from that and keep pushing through longer. Because I deal with being hangry sometimes too. But I just have to remind myself, I'm fine. It'll be okay. Take a few deep breaths and keep on moving.
Right.
So that's just a tool to add in your toolbox when you get ready to get into it.